AMD reported their earnings on the 27th, just after the bell, so essentially about 24 hours ago. And I was keeping a track of this stock. It was one that I was heavily watching, and it's one of the few that has done quite well. So we had Alphabet, Apple, and Microsoft, and they all did very, very good. They did amazing numbers, but AMD, out of the four that I was watching, has done absolutely brilliant. It's up 7.2%, which adds about 10 or $11 billion to its market cap. So it's now worth 110 billion, and it's sat at 97.59 a share. Originally, it was down at 90, so it's jumped $7, which is a brilliant jump to see. Question being is now though is, can we continue? And we haven't actually hit that all-time high, which sits at about 99.95, which is just at that 100. A push past 100 could take us a lot further. And what I'm going to do today is just have a quick look at those numbers, do a little bit of comparison against some of its competitors, or some companies in the industry, and see, has it still got it even after this 7% rally? What could we expect next? My name's Tyrone. It's the 28th of July, and you're watching MiniPip. Jumping straight into the video, the first thing that I actually want to look at is the earnings, and just have a quick look over them just to show sort of how good they've done. So they did, in the most recent quarter, they've done 3.8 billion revenue with a profit after tax of 710 million, which is really good, and that's, in terms of a margin, that's brilliant to see. However, it probably isn't good enough, and the reason that I say that is because just prior to this video I worked out sort of how much profit they make per dollar that they do in their revenue, and I compared that to NVIDIA. I also compared that to Intel, and then also Apple, and what I saw was NVIDIA did around 33.7 cents for every dollar. Intel was doing around 25.7 cents for every dollar. Apple was doing around 26.7 cents as well for every dollar, but NVIDIA's come in at around 18.4 cents. So they need to improve that profit margin realistically to be up there with the sort of the bigger players, shall we say. I mean, NVIDIA's worth around 460 or 470 billion, so it's worth almost 4 times as much. But realistically, I did actually look at the numbers on NVIDIA as well. The most recent quarter, they only did 5.6 billion turnover. So actually, this is one of the reasons why I think that AMD has a lot to run, is because if they did get up to the level that NVIDIA is doing, then the stock could go up, 50, 60, 70% from its current level. It could easily touch $200 a share, and that's only going to give it a $200 billion market cap, which even then, it would then as such become a bigger company in terms of revenue as opposed to NVIDIA. However, when we look at the balance sheet, and this is maybe one of the reasons why NVIDIA is worth more than AMD, is because it's just not as big. It's, NVIDIA's balance sheet is almost 3 times bigger. Cash and cash equivalents was 2.6 billion, which is up nicely from the previous quarter. Assets was up to 10.7 billion essentially, with total debt at 2.9 billion, leaving net positive $7 billion, which their liabilities to assets ratio comes in at around 27%, which is really good to see. NVIDIA's balance sheet comes in at around 39%. So even though NVIDIA's balance sheet is bigger, if AMD can continue the trend that they're on, they will definitely end up bigger, and they will end up better than NVIDIA. They just have to continue that. They need to improve the profit margins, and they just need to, that is it really. All they need to do is improve profit margins and revenue, and they will end up at some point the same size as NVIDIA with a $500 billion market cap. I think it's very possible. Now, if we look at the chart, and we look at the chart and we see where we're currently at, we still haven't touched that high of around $99.95. So $100 really is your ceiling. We do need to break above that. And if we do break above that, we're going to go a lot higher. Now, there's a good possibility that given its current level, we could see a slight pullback after its amazing rally today of 7%. So a small pullback to maybe the high here, which is about $95 a share. And then we could potentially see another test and a break higher. I would be initially targeting 105 maybe for next week, which is only a sort of 5 or 6% gain, but it's still a good game. But initially I'll be looking for around 120 in the next sort of 2 months. Now, I have actually been tracking NVIDIA for a while on the website as well, on Minipip's website, and I did actually post about this just prior to the results with the levels I was looking for. $100 was sort of the roof, and we did get there. Now, I did actually post, I think it was about 4 weeks ago, when NVIDIA was trading at just $77 a share. And since that, we're now up to 92. So we've seen, a pretty good improvement. Overall, I have no reason to sell this stock. It is, it's got a lot more potential to go. Let's get that up. So it's 77.51 on the 24th of May. So we've seen a huge increase. And again, a break above here, like I said, $100 is going to be tough to break. But if we do break it, we're taking up to 120, and that's if we can see strong growth, and we have seen that strong growth. So there's no denying that this will probably and very most likely continue higher. If we look at the actual technical indicators on the daily, we are in that RSI overbought level, but we do have MACD turning positive. We've got trend line support and the moving averages below. If we look at the weekly time frame, we're not overbought, so we could continue higher. And we have been overbought 3 times in the last 3 or 4 years. Here, for instance, in 2018, we saw this rally to around 90 in the RSI, which is really good to see. So that tells us that we could definitely get to 120, 130, and just start to be touching the overbought levels. And then even on the monthly time frame, we are overbought. But again, we can see that on the monthly time frame, we got to 88 before, and if we go back to the dot-com crash, just prior to that, we saw 84. So we could definitely see this a lot higher, and I do think that this is going to continue higher. My target in the next sort of month or two would be 120 to 125, which represents a 25% increase. But in the next couple of years, this could definitely, or in the next 12 to 18 months, I could definitely see this touching $200 a share. Just quickly, while we're on that, if we look at the NASDAQ as well, I've seen a lot of things on YouTube and a lot of videos wanting a pullback, but I'm not convinced that's going to happen. I think that your opportunities to go long in this market was just a couple of days ago, the 19th of July. If you missed out on that one, then you potentially the 27th of July was the opportunity there, which was just a couple of days ago. If we do pull back, then we have 14,500 as support. Chances are 14,500, which sees this probably fall back down to around that 90 level if we do go down there. But again, that's more dependent on Apple, Alphabet, and Microsoft and what they do. But overall, brilliant stock. This isn't a recommendation to buy it, but it is a very good stock. 120 would be the target, followed by 200 within the next 18 months. My name's Tyrone. You're watching Minipip, and thanks for watching.